I say this because it takes a collective, you know, when we come together and make films like this, make content like this, it means the world to showcase in front of it all. And it's not something I take for granted at all. Each one of you came out of your day, like, just finished from work, some of you, to come down and support us. So again, I thank you so much. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I don't take this for granted at all. Thank you.
What do you suppose we can do to fight the darkness in which
there's nothing wrong with me, is there? I'm good! I'm good! People keep telling me that I'm scary because they don't know how to handle me.
This film, this is the part where you go, ooh, like, drum roll please. This film was showcased at the National Gallery.
Black History Month. It was in
on Black History Month, I was just going to say, on Black History Month as well. So yeah, we showed out. We showed out and we took this film places that none of us really believed it could go. And this is just another testament as well. The London International Film Festival official selection seat. You lot didn't get that. Let me repeat this again. The London International Film Festival.
Easy enough when you're broken out here, just trying to make a wish. Hey, can't you see it in my look? Can't you see it in my face?
What is it now, bro? What is it now?
I know your boy knows who my girl was seeing, so tell me.
What boy? Which one of my boys now?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
What are you talking? What are you talking about, bro?
Names.
What are you talking about, bro?
Yes, you do.
Bro, listen to me, Jaden. You're making it all up. You're making it all up.
Why are you raising your voice?
You're shut up, man. Why are you dumb? Why are you dumb?
This was filmed in a week, you know. In a week. None of us got paid. This is just off the back. We just wanted to do this as well. So, you know, this is just a huge testament to see where pursuing your dreams can get you. Now, I didn't do this film alone. I can only act. I can only do so much by myself. It takes a whole team of collectives. And today I'm joined by my amazing co-star, Temi. Please come and introduce yourself. Give her a round of applause, man. Come on! I'm putting her on the spot.
What are you saying then?
What am I saying about what?
This whole thing.
What thing?
Is it nice?
What?
Nice little view. You know, that's why couples come and have nice walks and it's a nice view, wildlife's around.
Wait, what did you say? You said this is who does?
Where couples come and have nice walks and look at the view.
As in couple. We're not a couple. We've never been a couple.
You're funny. You're funny.
Temi,
Yes, Alice.
first of all, a massive thank you. Can we just appreciate Temi for what she done in this film? It's just amazing, you know? She's absolutely amazing. We love her. So this is you getting your flowers now because you deserve this. So tell us about your character. Tell us about the importance of your character in this film, and what was your reasoning behind accepting this film full of madmen who just decided to go out and do this?
So the importance of my character is kind of a bit personal, especially the scene where Jaden is like saying, oh, I thought we were together, that kind of like emotional, I don't want to say like emotional blackmail, but like that emotional side. It's something that I've experienced, and it's kind of hard to kind of differentiate between, okay, do I stay and help, or do I pull myself away, because then I may be enabling what the other person's thinking. So I feel like, especially from a female's perspective as well, you know, because they say women are emotional and things like that. So it was very interesting to see that with my character, like she had to pull away because he became quite erratic with his behaviours and things like that. But in the end, she was there for him and to support him. In terms of the role, so at the time, I think it was posted on Instagram, if I remember, and they were looking for an actress. And I was actually, this was my first on-screen role, because I was...
Hold on. Did you hear this? First on-screen role!
This is my first on-screen role, and prior to this, I was actually going through a lot of mental health issues myself. I couldn't act because of it. I had a lot of anxiety, depression, self-harming, substance abuse. Yeah, I was in a really dark place, and this was kind of, I was put on the spot in terms of like coming out of my shell and being able to come even down to the premiere at, in Tottenham and seeing everybody there. Like I didn't want to go because my anxiety was just crazy, and it was testament of God's glory that, you know, what you're going through, essentially God will use that to push you in many ways to reach out to many people. I mean, I'm only his vessel, and what I've been through, I can only share because there's so many other people. I mean, you look at, my thing is, people look at me and they assume so many things. If I was to tell you what goes into my head, you would never believe it. You would think, oh, you're lying, whatever. And it's important not to judge. It's important to ask questions. Even if you have a thought about somebody, ask them, have a conversation, because you never know what they might say. So I think that's important, and mental health matters. Recognizing that you have a problem is the first step. Even if you don't get the help, the fact that you can see there's an issue, that's amazing, because some people can't see that. Some people don't know that there's something wrong. And if you can, just seek help wherever you can. You never know, it can be someone passing by. There's so many people that we see that are secretly angels, and you never know what kind of word they're going to give you, or what kind of advice they're going to tell you, or point you in this direction or that direction. So I can only thank Paul and Ellis.
I always knew that something was wrong. I didn't know how to handle the situation as a friend. I mean, I tried to be there. I listened to, you know, all the problems, and he called me whenever he wanted and text as well, but I just knew that the problem was beyond me. I knew that he needed to seek internal help, professional help. I just want my friend back, and I don't see why he should feel as though he's in a box where he can't express that he needs that help. But I just want to let him know that it's okay, and it's hard, but he's on the right steps and the right road to recovery. It's one step at a time. I mean, we all have bad days. We all have days where we don't feel like getting up, but when it's a repetitive pattern and it's affecting your behavior with your friends, your family, you have to see that something is clearly wrong. I mean, he's a good guy. He really is. He has amazing ideas. I mean, he wants to be a writer, and he's always telling me about these words that he hears in his head, and that's where the problem first started. But he's my friend, and I'm gonna be there no matter what.
And I just hope that this film goes far enough to connect and to help other people that's going through anything. So thank you. Thank you guys for coming and watching as
well. I think one of the things I really want to highlight is the fact that no one really knows that you're kind of self-destructing, and it starts to show in certain ways, and it's not easy to spot, it's not easy to see. And I have this quote that says, "Don't lose to yourself." And that sticks with me because we can go out in the world, we can pretend we are this and that, and we can do all of that, but internally we don't know what's going on. And you know, that's one of the main things. So if I can leave you with something, don't lose to yourself. Reach out if you need it. Yes, brother.
What was your favorite part of the whole experience?
Say that. Ooh, my favorite part of the whole experience. I think just going out and do it, you know, like, I think in regards to myself being an actor, I think we all kind of wait for the perfect role. We're all like, yeah, you know what, we're gonna get that thing and it's gonna, like, we're gonna do our thing. But just there's, the end result is brilliant and all, but I'm in love with the process. I'm in love with going through it. I'm in love with the, you know, getting there. Okay, this doesn't work. All right, how do we get around it? All right, cool, we do this. All right, cool. All of this extra stuff as well. Also, I forgot to mention this, I'll mention this now. I felt this was really important to put this film online, right? I felt this was really important to put this film online. So we showcased, well, this film was posted on a YouTube channel called Million Youth Media, right? UK Fully Focused. This film that you've just watched has over 100k views. London International Film Festival Awards, 100k views, screened at the National Gallery, all independently, without money, without waiting for people, just getting up and doing it within a week, being around like-minded individuals. Just want to stress that. Anybody else?
Did you research that part before you kind of played it? Because you kind of went quite deep into it.
See, this is where I really want to say yes. Of course I did. I didn't. I went there, you know.
Tell them about how I got you, how he went there is deep.
Oh gosh, this is why I don't want to inspire. The scene with me on the swings. That was a very powerful scene, right? Am I right? Yeah. Am I right? Okay, thank you. Just make sure you're still alive. Now, Paul and I, we're very close. If you don't know, in Amani, Paul plays my dad. This is where you give a round of applause to Paul. So, you know, it's such an emotional scene, you know, you really have to go there mentally. You really have to kind of showcase what Jaden is going through as well. One of the things is in his mind, like Tenny said earlier, there's these words that just keep popping up, you can't make sense of them. And you get lost in your own head. You can get lost in your head quite often. And again, it can get very messy up there. So for him who's already struggling, it's very overwhelming for him. And when you're overwhelmed, it comes out in different ways. So again, just getting kind of prompted, like, okay, this is what Jaden's going through, like, bring this out, bring that, da, da, da. And that scene at the beginning where I'm on the swings and I'm like, I'm good, I'm like smacking my face and all stuff. That was one take, right? Paul said yes, it was one take. And yeah, it's just such a powerful scene. And when I filmed that scene, Paul was standing there behind it. I'm gonna react to what Paul was like. So he was standing behind the camera and I was doing the thing and I finished and I looked at him and he looked at me and was like, "You good, bro? You okay?" I was like, yeah, are you happy with that? He was like, yeah, I'm good. I might have to take you home right now. I'm good. And he said to me, I showcased, what was it, all 5 of the different things like PTSD.
Yeah, it was to highlight the different, because there's many different forms mental health takes, many different forms, and we realised that when it was like, okay, act as if you've got a mental health issue, and it was like, well, if you're doing that one, what's that one? And then it was to show that there are so many different things to look out for and so many different forms of mental health, which are expanding. So the signs are becoming more and more complex and being seen as the norm. So it was to get Ellis to almost depict each one of those as many of the obvious ones as possible.
That answers your question. Yes.
Bring Timmy on. Timmy, you should go. Yeah, go on, Timmy. Some questions.
Yes, any other questions? Michael, you said, bro.
How are you?
All right.
Good. It's a question for you and Paul, actually. I'd say, what was the hardest part about the entire process? You know, there's very heavy scenes throughout this thing. I'd imagine there are some really difficult parts of the process. What was your most difficult parts of the whole process?
Everything was really difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Just portraying the character's story, just portraying like what the character is going through as well, and just all these different emotions that he's not able to label and say, okay, I'm suffering with depression, okay, this is post-traumatic stress. He doesn't know what this is, and it's just coming out of him, and he just, he treats people a certain way. I think the thing that was most difficult for me was showcasing all of that, and not realizing that I did. It's kind of like, oh yeah, Paul, you've just showed me all of this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I totally meant to do that. So again, it was just really showcasing all of this stuff. Like Paul said earlier, it's very complex. It's not clear. It's not clear at all. And again, it's how does my behavior affect the people and the characters around me, around Jaden, and how do I best showcase that? That's my biggest challenge. Hey, what's your biggest challenge?
That question for me as well. My biggest challenge, I guess, was just kind of like getting used to being back on camera and just kind of putting my personal issues aside and focusing on the character. Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Any other questions? Oh my gosh, I feel like a classroom teacher.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to know, what were you trying to portray about the mother? Because like it opens up and she's asking like, what's wrong? Why won't you talk to me? But then she says like, you need to bounce back like the robot. And the scene where she found the bloody shirt, I was expecting her to do something about it.
Great question. You should, yeah, go for it.
So that particular scene there is, having worked with so many parents you can't get it. They can't get the change. They can't identify what's going on with their young people. It's really how it was we were going to create an image of a typical parent who might not understand what their child is going through. And what's profound about that is since we kind of made that film, I've been putting that to the test myself. Looking at, because it makes you look at things, and when Ellis was talking about those scenes, it's not only the person being filmed. When you're looking at somebody through a lens, it starts to become about, that's a bit like me. Does that make sense? And so as I'm filming him, I'm thinking to myself, wow, I've been there before. I've experienced it. So it makes the filming of it more, it makes it difficult. And it makes it difficult for me to congratulate him on the scene and then bring him back from the scene. Because, you know, we sat there at 11 o'clock and it was like, you saw it was late. I pulled him out of his house. I'm sure his parents hated me at that time, but I said, we have to do it now. And it was freezing cold, and I said, you know, it was a matter of getting yourself in that state, and he was able to go and access those states. And I think it was so important that once he'd accessed them, to actually bring him back. Because nobody should really experience that unless you really had to. And so it was about Ellis acting, which is, I think it's brilliant. He acted it and he was able to come back. So we were able to do that scene, and then the day after that we were able to drive around, and I was buying him ice cream and all sorts of madness, and he was asking me for money. I said, you're ridiculous, you're an actor. Actors don't get paid, just go deep. But it was about balancing it. So he goes deep and then treat him, and then we got it, and then tell me who I'm going to hand over afterwards. And I'm just rounding this up because it's your platform. It's like, you know, when we first met, you was like, I don't think I could do this. And she didn't even know what I had in store for her. She was like, what do you want me to do, just walk on camera? And I was like, yeah, just walk on and just say that. And then just pull away there. And she was like, you're getting me to really go deep. And so that was like, we met twice. Yeah. You know, and I remember the time we met to do the feedback scene where you were talking about it, and you were like, oh no, how's it going? I'm not sure I'm good. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? You're the best.
Round of applause for Temi.
Yeah. And so for me, before I hand over, the whole experience, come over here away from the speaker, before it blows up on us. The whole experience was about empowering them. And the last thing I will say tonight is that the reason I love that film, in all its errors, is because it's a bit like mental health, isn't it? It's not perfect. Do you know what I mean? There are parts that others see that you don't see. And so I think we're going to leave it like that. Yeah? So any more questions for Temi?
Yeah. How do you as youngers explain to the Windrush generation mental health, who would probably describe it as a lack of resilience?
Thank you for the question. So I just try and be as transparent as I can. So like, for example, with my mum, I mean, she's not with my generation, but I would say like, she's mature in age. When I finally kind of told her what I was going through, it was just, she couldn't understand why. She couldn't understand where it came from. So it's like I had to really go deep and kind of go beyond just talking. Like, there's different layers when it comes to mental health. It's very easy just to kind of say, oh, I don't feel good, today was a bad day, work was this, work was that. Why was work bad? Because this person said this. Okay, what was it about that made you feel this way? You know, and then you break that down, and then it's like, okay, but how does that reflect in you, what they said? So it's like literally breaking it down in layers, because my mum's generation, when it comes to mental health, to them, it's like, I don't want to say like it's normal, but it's normal in the sense that, oh, you just get on with it. But really, I'm looking at it as like, Mum, that's not normal. That's not, you're not supposed to go through that. I think now, where everything is so out in the open, I think there's a lot of room for discussion, as opposed to when I was in secondary school, which was, I'm showing my age now, 2003, mental health, we would think, you know, when you see someone on the road and they just look a bit, you know, dodgy or whatever, we would think, oh, that person's mental, that's mental health. But when I look at secondary school and things that we went through, I'm like, that wasn't normal, this wasn't normal, that wasn't normal, that was anxiety, that was depression, that was suicide, that was, or suicidal thoughts, that was, you know, self-harming. So I feel like now, in terms of trying to explain it to the Windrush generation, you just have to break it down in layers, like literally go imagine it like a pyramid. every single level, you have to break it down into bits and pieces for them to understand it. Because if you just kind of just go over it and then just say, oh, it's this, there's no room for like conversations and topics, if that makes sense. Thank you.
Yes, Roadman. It's funny how the phone played a pivotal part in your communication. So, the generation that stands, you stand with a message. So this is a powerful resource. So I'm asking a question. Direct me with it, please. How can it be used, or is it being used, or would you like it to be used in those environments where young people need to learn about themselves? Because you've got to grow into your skin. And that's when people pass, think you're too big, while you think she's chatting to you as a sister, and you take it like a girlfriend. You hear me? It's perceptions. We need to take back the perceptions. So I personally know that mental health is different for men as it is for women. The cause and effects behind the causes, the stress, the film never show it. The blue light flashing, you hear me? Okay? The unnecessary discipline, do you hear me? The molestation behind the scene then, do you hear me? And the bandage on your hand when you cut it. We never see them things. Why? Because that's real life. But I'm talking about the film as a resource to take back out and start building up a generation that can shout, I need help. Don't write it in blood. We don't want to see the blood again. Cancel that one. Speak it out.
And I'm really grateful you said that, by the way. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just going to go to centre, of course. Thank you for saying that as well. That's what we're about. The reason why we've done the things the way we did them in the film is because it's the uncomfortable truth. You know? It's like, how can I showcase that I need help? I write, help me in blood. Ugh. You see me self-harming. No one wants to see that. But when you see it, you're like, oh my gosh. Do you know what I'm saying? It's an uncomfortable truth. And also, just because we've got a few members in here as well, just a little bit of background. I work a lot in mental health and safe spaces and emotional heart work. And I'm literally going to put them on the spot now. I've got a few cast members in here who are working on, and I'm going to say this without stuttering, so please take this in. We are working on one of the best theatre plays that you will ever see in your life ever. Cast members, stand up, please. Stay there for 20 seconds. Right, now, this theatre play that we're working on, right? Are you listening? Listen to the name of this, right? And you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. This theatre play is called Stories Boys Don't Like to Tell. Yeah? So we're going there. And this is why I said we're working on the best theatre play that you will ever see ever. Yeah? So these guys standing before you will be standing before me, and they'll be big. Just keep it together, lads. Yes.
Tonight is all about surprises. And I've got a surprise for you two. I don't know how many of you follow this young man's massive Instagram following. He's got like 2.7 million people that follow him on, you see, on a daily basis. And what he does, come over here, sir. And what he does is he's one of these people that actually celebrates the good things about young people. Because, you know, the amount of debates we've had about people who share videos of young people doing violent things and think to themselves, this is getting me clickbait, this is getting me likes. But it's actually increasing the trauma. So you spend a lot of time going around the country actually celebrating young people just doing well. I think that's what we should do. We've kind of got lost from that now, innit? So give him a round of applause. So he's promised to give me half of his followers. So you've come here to do something. So remembers that program, This Is Your Life? Yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stephen, the founder from Proud and Gifted. I travel around the UK, as Paul said, and I award and celebrate young people's achievements. Why do I do that? Because in 2018, I believed nobody was doing it, and I couldn't find a space. So I created that space. I won't hold you up too much time. Ellis, could you stand here, please? And I'll do things different. Tammy, could you stand here, please? So from Proud and Gifted, I'd like to say, well done. Even though you're not your biggest fan, I'll follow you and share your stuff. Stop it. So from Proud and Gifted, Ellis, I'd like to award you with a you can give him a Proud and Gifted certificate.
So I get an award now, okay?
So, sorry, can everyone get their phones out and film this, please? Because this is their moment, not Paul's moment.
It's not my moment.
So from Proud and Gifted, I'd like to award you with one of our personalised certificates. I did have a t-shirt for you, but however, Tabby robbed me with her story. So I'd like to give you a Proud and Gifted merchandise. Thank you. If it doesn't fit, I'll change it. All right. Just to say, well done. Proud of what you are doing. Proud of what you've done before. And to get you here today, your story is phenomenal, along with Ellis's. So you should know what I say. Proud and Gifted, what do we do?
We celebrate young people.
Achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to say, well done.
I have mental issues, but I own it. I'm not scared of it anymore. I embrace it. I accept who I am, but that doesn't change who I am. I'm still Jaden. I'm still me. Just because I have a mental illness doesn't make me any less of a man, you know. I'm still able to walk, talk, and, you know, follow my dreams. Yeah, it gets annoying sometimes. I may struggle to understand simple things and find many things confusing. You know, I may struggle to fit in, but that doesn't matter. Because I own it. I accept it, and I live with it. I move forward with it. It doesn't make me any less of a man.
There's so many young people out there going through mental health issues, and we just need to know the signs. We need to look out for those signs, and we need to be the support systems for those young people that need help, just like Jaden.
Hey! Oh, yes, my guy. Whew. You know what? I'm could, you know.